With the missions of our President Joko Widodo to put the nation future at the oceans and make the oceans become our great country. So we want to become one of the central gravity of maritime axis. So a big work is out there, but we also realized that there had been 2 decades, Indonesian fisheries household are decreased almost 50%, and the export of Indonesia, with as the owner of second largest archipelagic country in the world, only at the bottom of Asian country, Southeast Asia country. So it's a big work, and we see that the only way to revitalize our fisheries especially is by combat IUU fishing that had been taken so much in the last 2 decades in Indonesia. So our Indonesian water resource had been taken by more than 7,000 illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing vessels that operate in our oceans. So what we did is basically executing without any compromising of anything, basically on combat the IUU fishing. What we did executing is by sinking the ship that catch fish illegally in our water. And so far we have done 363 ships had been sunk. And as a deterrent effect, we don't have those 10,000 foreign vessels that fishing for decades in our water. So now the growing of fisheries household purchase power is also increased by 10%, and fisheries business become competitiveness increase almost 20%, and our stock increased from 6.5 million tons in 2014, now become 12.5 million tons. Other than that, the health of the oceans also increased. The level of biomass is increased 300%. And last quarter of this year, fisheries commodity become the only one that contributes surplus into our balance trade in Indonesia. So it's an incredible number. So yes, we must and we do continue to combat illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. So far done well, but to sustain it, because for now we can say our water is safe, but these vessels are moving somewhere else, and we have to continue work bilaterally together in communications and also on joint force to make sure that IUU cannot take from any other country resources, because what they take is basically the coastal owners' resources. If we allow them, then depleted of resource and the food security that we are always aim to have, that will be also on threat, because the business of illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing value is billions of dollars. So we do have to continue what we have done in Indonesia, but also join and work together with many other countries. That's the only way to tackle illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. And they're mostly not a single domestic organization. They are transnational organized. So the crime that they do is a transnational organized crime. So cooperation between countries, international support is very important, especially for those countries that's small, undeveloped, and doesn't have capacity on their own patrolling and keep their waters safe. Oh yes, first I would like to, of course, invite every leaders that concern and care with what's happened to our oceans. One oceans, one world, one oceans, that fact cannot be ignored anymore. The health of the oceans is also a very important component of climate change. So we all have to work together, and in this other ocean conference, we want to continue even on tracking the commitment that had been pledged by many countries. So what is delivery level of the commitment that a country had been pledged? We're not only collecting new commitment, but we also want to develop a mechanism system that can track what commitment pledge had been delivered. So, because it's no use to just commit new thing, but you never deliver. So, what we will do in this Bali, our ocean conference, we want to put in place a mechanism system on controlling and tracking the delivery. Each country had been made the pledgement. So, because we can't go into blue economy and to have the blue economy happening if we don't take this IUU part as one of the threats that we should address, and we should take the solutions. What's the solution of this problem? Because at the moment, the biggest threat from our experience is overfishing. And the IUU fishing, you cannot control how far they will take your resources. And these people or this activity will not care what it will be left, especially for the local small fishermen. And small coastal fishermen are basically the biggest populations. The capacity of IUU fishing, of each vessel of them, is a living of thousands. And if 1,000 of those IUU fishing vessels is basically the same capacity of millions of coastal fisheries households. So you can't allow this IUU fishing vessel taking the millions of people livelihood. And country cannot also do subsidize to these people all the time. So what we should do is put policy in place to make sure IUU is not there and these people can have their resource. The coastal fisheries and its benefits should belong to the coastal community, not to the country distant fishing, who just come and not even pay, giving any contributions to the country state that they are owning, or the coastal owners community. So it should be something done about that. And it's become very important. You talk about climate change with the forest that's taken away. We have to remember the whole planet, 71% is oceans. And land is only 29%. If you worry much about deforestations of 29% of this planet, you should be worried of the health of the oceans, that is 71% of our planet. So I think they're the biggest contributions on how we basically care and develop the climate change in our planet. Without taking care of the oceans, you forgot the biggest part. And what we see also, it's time for us to run, because as the SDG 14 said, we have to eliminate IUU up to 2020, which is just another 2 years to go. And the path of it is still a lot of work, a lot of homework to be done, and we not yet come into conclusions that we should actually put a force into it. So we start on bilateral communication, giving mutual legal assistance, example like what we did to Argentina, we did to Interpol on sizing the illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing vessel that had been hunted by them, and finally we got it for them. So, but it's only little, it's only 1, 2, 3 vessels. And out there are more than 40,000 illegal fishing vessels that fishing basically illegal and taking all sources your country has, every country has. That's, I think, it's become very important side of the ocean conference. Other than also plastic waste has to become a very serious issue, because we see how depleted is the health of the oceans by that many plastic that is thrown away to the ocean. So it's very important, I think, on that part.